Good morning. It's my timeline is March 23rd. March 23rd, Tuesday. I just came in from running, and it's just such an amazing run. Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't know where to start. The run was amazing. It'd been a few weeks that I had gone running. It could have been a week. I don't remember. But I woke up and MG's message, totally not for me. It was like talking about like family stuff and like, you know, when you decide to change and start putting boundary, that's what it's called. It was like called something boundary something. But I'll post it and I was just like, well, that doesn't sound like me, right? Like I already went through that at the beginning of this process with my family, like, you know, having to set boundaries and like, you know, just things that I wasn't gonna do anymore, you know, put me first. And you know, and MJ talked about like, you know, we start setting those boundaries, like, and people aren't used to it. They're used to you performing a certain way, right? Like it can be overwhelming for them because they're used to certain expectations from you. And so, you know, you in essence ruffle feathers in that process of changing and transforming and having to reset like new boundaries and stuff. And so I was just like listening and I'm like, that doesn't sound like me. Like that totally doesn't sound like me. And dang it, so the video that I posted today was on looking up at the clouds. It was about looking up at the clouds, and it was really short, and it was just about like realizing that, you know, when I look up the clouds, the transition of the clouds is similar to when the waves transition when they're really slow. That's what it looks like. And so I talk about that, and then I talk about my waves. I don't remember what I said about the waves. But anyways, and I was like looking back at some of the chapters, and then I was trying to look for like a specific video that I haven't posted yet about when I went back to the shop the last time, right? And yeah, and I had this conversation. I actually spoke to Mr. Bumble last night, and coincidentally, right? Yeah, and I was just kind of sharing with him like just some of the stuff that was going on with my family, and he was able to like resonate and stuff, and me realizing, right, like where this person was in his journey. And there's this common theme so far in the last couple of days about me helping people through this process a little bit more in the sense of like one-on-one, right? And I found the video that I was looking for, and it talked about, again, I haven't posted it yet. I mean, I'll probably post by the time this one gets posted because it's before this one, so I'll probably put a link in it, where it talks about me embracing being a healer. And this lesson that I'm learning yesterday and that I shared with him, I'm like, I'm realizing that the lesson that I'm learning is how to be compassionate and be patient in that process when someone else is learning. Like I can do it with kids, because there's that expectation, right, that they're little and you go slow. But with adults, it's a little bit harder for me, just conceptually, right? Because we're adults. and you know, sometimes like charge, like, come on, get with it, Smalls, come on. and realizing that no, you take a step back, right? Slow down, because I'm dealing with adults here. I'm not dealing with kids now. So that's a shift for me in terms of my teaching experience. Was mostly with elementary kids and littles. And I mean, some high school, right? And then when I was doing therapy, it was like everybody, right? And just real, but it's different like when it's someone you know, right? It's more like I don't have time. Like, come on. Oh my gosh, I just remembered something. This one, there's this person that said, walk and talk. And that's what came to mind right now. And I was just like, come on, get with it. And right, having to take a step back and be like, no, slow down, right? Even though they're adults, this is something new. Bite-sized pieces, right? Like learning, also like just this just reflection, self-reflection of like, not too much information, like try to gauge it, ask, how you doing with this? Do you need clarification? And then they'll say like, yeah, actually, yeah, right? Or they'll say, wait, like, or kind of teaching them to have their voice, right? So I don't know why I was drawn to like look for that video. It was a couple of videos that I wanted to replay. And I actually ended up replaying a lot of it. I've been up since like 2 a.m. I've been up since 2 a.m. I ended up going to sleep early, so I didn't finish posting the video. And so I woke up at 2. And it wasn't even like late that I went to bed. I think I went to bed. What time did I finish talking to Brenda? It was like 7. No, but I stayed up. Oh no, it was like 10. It was like 10. Because that's the time that I finished talking to Mr. Bumble. And 4 hours, just 4 hours of sleep. And I woke up at 2. I was like, crap. I fell asleep. But I'm like, okay, I gotta get up, right? Well, I mean, I didn't have to get up, but like all the lights were on. I was like, oh, I forgot to turn it off, and I didn't finish my coffee. And so, anyways, so I was just drawn to listen to those videos, and some of them, like, I still got a little, choked up and like tear. But the one about the healer, and I was reminded what this other person once said, right? That I have the ability to heal myself. Why did that come up? Oh, well, because that's been a theme too. That's been a theme. Like I told my dad that yesterday. 2 days ago. No, it was yesterday. It was yesterday. It was the same day. I thought it was like today's Tuesday. This was Monday. It was all Monday. It was all yesterday. And yeah. And then Mr. Bumble is just acknowledging where he's at, right? And just encouraging him. Like, and he's motivated. Like, he's motivated. Like, he's like, I want to learn. And he's showing me this great music. I have to ask him what genre it was, but I listened to that. Actually, I woke up wanting to hear it while I ran, because it wasn't sync. And I'm running, and I'm happy. Like, I just feel good. Like, I feel happy. I feel good. And I'm running, and I start pushing myself to run faster. Like, just, and it's like an uphill, like, because it's just on that street, which I won't name, but I go up, so it's uphill. And one of the things, and they're like doing construction on the street. And another reason why I want to run was because I overindulged this weekend, so I feel a little pudgy. I feel a little pudgy. So I overindulged the whole weekend, so I'm like, okay, get it together. And so I'm pushing myself, right? And I'm smiling while I'm doing this. Like, I don't think I've smiled while I ran in such a long time, except for the parts that I'm dancing, but not when I'm running, like when I'm pushing through it, right? And I have this music, and it's such a great music to like listen to. The band is called The Midnight. I think it's called The Midnight. Yeah, The Midnight. I forget what it's called in terms of the genre. But it's just so good. Like, it's really speaking to me. And the sounds and stuff. And so I'm running to that. And so when I trained for the marathon, you're training to pace yourself, right? In the sense of like when I think I might have mentioned it before, where you get to the finish line, you're not supposed to stop. You really aren't. That's how a lot of people end up with heart issues. Or you see some runners like have heart attack, because you're pushing your body to a certain point that you have to like slow yourself down and slow your heartbeat down and your breathing down to where you can then stop. And so that kind of applies to when you're at the corners, waiting for the light to turn. So you're supposed to run against oncoming traffic. Supposed to, right? I mean, you can. Like today, I couldn't for a certain part of the street because they were doing construction on the other side. So I couldn't, but you're supposed to run towards oncoming traffic so you can see the traffic coming towards you, and kind of gauge, like, if someone's like driving crazy, you can swerve out of the way. Versus going with traffic, because then you don't see the cars behind you as they're passing by you, and you don't know if you're gonna get hit. So it was a combination, like it was just a combination of the terrain that I was on, and going against traffic, going with traffic, slowing down at the corners, right? Or not slowing down, because you're not supposed to slow. I don't slow down at the corners. Like, I jog in place, like, just to keep my heart pumping, and then I push forward, right? And so I'm doing that, and I'm pushing myself hard. And then, depending on the music, like, start slowing down and just start, like, going with the music. And then I'm realizing, like, because I'm smiling the whole way, and I'm realizing, like, this is the path, this is life, where you have, I can only speak for my life, but, like, where I'm like, you be charged, and I'm like rushing through, and then there's a stop sign, I'm like, okay, and then I'm like running place, right? I'm like itching to go, and then it turns green, I'm like, charge again, and then I start slowing down, I'm like, okay, time for fun, time for fun, right? Balance it out, and dancing with the music and slowing it down. And then I slow down a little bit, and I'm smiling and I'm laughing. And then I push hard again, and then I decide to just slow it down a little bit. And there's other stop signs in between, right? And there's just this connection with my path and the different times that I go too fast and then I have to stop all of a sudden, which I technically don't stop, like I just run in place, but I'm like itching to like keep going forward. And then there's a part where it's like, you have to have fun, right? And so you're just like, okay, it doesn't have to be hard all the way, like I used to do. Like I should just like rush, get out of the way, because it's just like exhausting. And now I'm enjoying it, like I'm smiling and just experiencing that and the different terrains as I'm going, right? And on the grass, and then there's pavement, and it's crooked, and then there's rocks and gravel, and just, tiptoeing around it so stuff doesn't get caught at the sole of my shoes, and then jumping over certain puddles, and there's just this assimilation, or no, is it assimilate? What is that word? Where like, oh gosh, my student was talking about it. Is it a metaphor? No, simile? Where it's just similar to life. Like I'm looking at this path as similar to my life and my pace of doing things, right? And then like the last corner before I turn on the street, where it's mostly all gravel, like on the side of where my apartment complex is, it just took forever to change. And and then it teases you, where it's just like, you think it's gonna be you next, but then it doesn't, and then you're just like, oh, so I'm like laughing at myself the whole time, and I start to, instead of like jogging in place at that point, because that's usually a part where I start slowing down and dancing the rest of the way home to slow down my heart rate, and then eventually, like the last little stretch, like I walk it. But so I start dancing in the corner, and it just seems like forever, and I'm just dancing in the corner, doing different moves, like just entertaining myself, because it's a longer way. And then the moment it turns color, I'm like, bam, like running through just to get across the street, but then realizing, oh, it's the gravel part, like this is where I gotta slow down. But then the music's just like going, so I'm trying to slow down, and I'm going with the, the beat of the music. And usually around that time, like I take my ponytail off, and sometimes I'll wear like a I don't know what it's called. I don't know what to do with it. But it's like an earmuff thing, like when it's really cold, and just to keep my ears warm. And I left that on because I know sometimes like I tend to sweat a lot more than others, and so we just go see it. So and then I get cold, so I'm like, no, I'll just keep that part on. And so dancing all the way, and just there's this realization, like I'm going forward. I'm running towards my blessings, and being okay with the fact that like whatever will catch up will catch up. And there's just this sense, there's just this liberation. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it just is so amazing. And like even coming home and just the realization, wow, like, and all the different relationships are coming through my mind, and just like how my pace with each one of them, and just realizing like, I'm not gonna freaking settle. Like, I'm just not, right? I'm gonna keep moving forward. And whoever catches up to me, right? If it feels right, then that'll be it. I mean, I'm not looking for marriage. I was telling this person yesterday, I'm like, I'm not, been there, done that. Like, I'm just not. Life partner, possibly, right? And I was telling him, I'm like, possibly, but even that, it's like, I forgot how I worded it. I don't remember if I recorded on it, but it's really like, you know, you do what you can and you make it work. You're whole and complete within yourself so that you're creating something new together until it serves its purpose. And because you're whole and complete, then you can step away and say, hey, we tried our best, still love you. Thank you for this experience. And we move on. And we can keep that connection, right? Without hurts, without pains, because you were able to resolve it. And you were whole and complete to start off. And so there's no shame, there's no guilt, there's no hurt behind stepping away and viewing that situation in a different way. You know, whatever makes the distance, you know, reaches the distance, and whatever doesn't make it any less valuable or important. It's just a different type of pavement. Like sometimes it's rocky, sometimes it's slanted, sometimes it's clean, and sometimes it's like bumpy, sometimes there's holes. Yeah. And then towards the end of my road, like I see the truck. And it was always in the back of my head. I'm like, what kind of truck was it that this person drives? Because I mean, if I'm lucky, I remember the kind of car that I drive, right? And so I drive by, I run by this truck that looks familiar, but the color's different. And then I see the name, I'm like, that's the type of truck. Like I just know, I'm like, that's it. That's the type of truck, I think. And then I just laugh because I'm like, ah, I got that answer. Like I was always wondering, like, what truck was it? Because you know, something. I mean, for me, like certain ones look all the same. And then when I saw that, I was like, I think that's the type of truck. And then I just start laughing. And then I realized that I'm laughing about it instead of getting all worked up like that time in TJ when I was in line right behind another truck. That would just, there's just something about the truck that just kind of triggered in me, like this built up, right? And I didn't feel that. And then, so when I was laughing, I was like, oh, I don't feel that anymore. I don't feel that anymore. And so then I just started laughing. In the sense of like, wow, like it just didn't trigger me like I thought it would. Yeah. And that kind of felt good. to just like, there's a sense of like peace. I gotta have peace. Oh, shoot. Oh, gotta take it. It's my beat. But I just wanted to share that because that was an amazing experience, an amazing run. Like I don't think I've had a run like that before. So you guys have a good one. My name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me. So take care.